I thought I was alone after losing Mom. Then this total stranger saw my ring. Amelia wore a ring, a keepsake from her mother, to a job interview, but the interviewer had a matching one leading to an unbelievable discovery that changed her life. Hi everyone, welcome to Tales Unveiled. Today I'm excited to share a new story with you. Let's get started. Amelia's stomach churned with nerves as she prepared for the job interview at the thriving construction company on the other side of town. This wasn't just about landing a position, it was about survival, about finding a foothold after the world had been knocked from under her feet by her mother's passing excitement, battled with a familiar pang of loss, reminding her that nothing would ever bring her mother back. Still, with her father's quiet strength beside her, she pressed on, determined to build a future worthy of the woman who had shaped her. On the morning of the interview, Amelia looked up at the overcast sky, almost seeking a sign. The world felt a little less vibrant without her mom. Instead of dwelling on this sadness, she straightened her shoulders, remembering the lessons her mother had taught her: resilience, the quiet strength found in hard work. These memories propelled her to pursue her goals, believing that each step forward was a tribute to the woman who brought her into the world. Amelia woke up extra early that day. Every detail of her appearance had to be just right. She chose to wear the navy suit her mother had expertly sewn for her, simple but impeccably tailored. It was far from fancy, but it held a deeper kind of value, imbued with the warmth of her mother's hands. The position she aimed for was as an office assistant to Mr. Reynolds, the non-nonsense foreman known throughout the company for his efficiency and exacting standards. The job wasn't glamorous, but it promised the stability and structure Amelia craved. Being part of Mr. Reynolds's team was a step towards the responsible, self-sufficient life she desired. Amelia grabbed her bag and headed out. Before leaving, her eyes lingered on the photo of her mother, propped on the side table. Sadness tightened her chest, her eyes falling to her hand. On her finger was a distinctive, well-worn ring which had belonged to her mother. It was a reminder of family ties she never fully understood. Where there's hope, the inscription on the inside read, a phrase that had always given her a sense of quiet strength. In the waiting room, Amelia found herself surrounded by unfamiliar faces. The other candidates carried themselves with an air of practiced confidence, portfolios tucked under their arms. Amelia suddenly felt out of place. Everyone seemed to have more experience, a better grasp of the industry jargon that echoed around her. Self-doubt crept in, and an unexpected giggle bubbled up. Laughter in this serious space felt wildly inappropriate, and as the sound escaped her lips, head swiveled towards her. Embarrassment burned through her, and she hastily buried her face in a company brochure, trying to regain her composure. Her anxiety only increased as one by one the candidates disappeared, appeared behind a heavy door. Each time it swung open, she'd catch a glimpse of the office, the air thick with formality. The mystery of what happened behind that door only intensified her nervousness. When her name was finally called, Amelia's legs nearly buckled. She took a steadying breath and smoothed down the wrinkle-free fabric of her mother's suit, seeking its familiar comfort. Mr. Reynolds's office was a cramped space at the back of a instruction trailer. Blueprints spilled over his desk, and a worn hard hat hung from the back of his chair. He extended his hand in greeting, and Amelia shook it, firmly masking her surprise at its roughness. As the interview began, her initial tension eased slightly. Miss Reynolds was direct, but his questions were fair, and Amelia's honesty seemed to win her points. She talked about her eagerness to learn the ropes, her willingness to start from the bottom, and her strong work ethic. Though she couldn't bluff her way through fancy Construction lingo her sincerity made. Her standout from those who tried the interview was nearing its end when Mr. Reynolds, a man not known for sentimentality, paused. He seemed to be studying her hands. That ring, he began. Slowly, it looks familiar. Amelia sat in stunned silence as Mr. Reynolds continued to reveal the depths of their newfound connection. The two rings, once symbols of distant, separate lives, now connected her with a family she never knew existed. When Mr. Reynolds pulled out his ring, nearly identical to Amelia's, but with the inscription, "There's always light," Amelia's heart pounded with the realization that this was more than a mere coincidence. The rings fit together like two pieces of a puzzle, each bearing an inscription that complemented the others, creating a powerful symbol of unity and hope. "My father had these made for me and my sister," Mr. Reynolds said, his voice cracking. "One for each of us, to remind us that no matter where we were always connected by these words." Amelia's breath hitched. "Your sister was my mother?" she asked, her voice trembling. The room seemed to hold its breath as Mr. Reynolds nodded, tears welling in his eyes. "My sister, whom I lost contact with many years ago," Mr. Reynolds continued, his gaze intense. "She was the heart and soul of our family, and I've missed her every day since we were separated. We were orphaned and sent to different homes. Despite my efforts to find her, the bureaucratic chaos made it nearly impossible." Amelia felt a wave of emotion wash over her. The weight of her mother's ring on her finger now felt like a tangible link to a family history she had been unaware of. The loss and longing that had been a part of her life suddenly made sense. Her mother's quiet strength and resilience were now framed by a deeper familial connection she never imagined. As Mr. Reynolds shared stories of his sister, Amelia's heart ached with both joy and sorrow. She learned about her mother's early years, her kindness, and the struggles she had faced. In turn, Amelia shared stories of her mother's life, her skills as a seamstress, and the love she had for her daughter. They pored over old photographs and memories, bridging the gap between their shared past and present. The afternoon turned into evening as the two of them found comfort in their newfound connection. The job interview that had initially felt so crucial faded into the background. What mattered now was the reunion of a family that had been separated for decades. Mr. Reynolds, ever the gruff but deeply caring figure, spoke about his own family. He showed Amelia pictures of his wife and children, sharing anecdotes about their lives. His pride in his sons and the affection he spoke of for his family brought a new dimension to Amelia's understanding of her own mother's history. "They'll love you," Mr. Reynolds said simply. "My family, they'll welcome you with open arms. You're part of us now." Amelia felt a swell of hope and belonging as Mr. Reynolds spoke. The rings, once merely a keepsake from her mother, had led her to a family and a sense of connection that transcended her recent loss. In the weeks that followed, Amelia settled into her new job with a renewed sense of purpose. The relationship with Mr. Reynolds deepened into a meaningful bond, and she was introduced to his family. Each gathering, each shared story, reinforced the feeling that she had found something precious and longed for. The rings, now symbols of a reconnected family, had bridged a gap that time and circumstance had seemed to widen. Amelia's life, once shadowed by loss, now glowed with the warmth of a newfound family, making her future feel full of possibilities and love she had only begun to discover. Thank you for sharing that story. It's truly moving how something as simple as a ring can lead to such profound connections and revelations. The idea that even in the midst of loss and uncertainty, there are extraordinary gifts to be discovered is a powerful and uplifting message. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to tap that like button and subscribe to the channel for more heartwarming content. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this story. Drop a single word in the comments to let us know how it made you feel. Also, don't miss the video currently on your screen for more captivating tales. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.